Ilia Topuria defeats Max Holloway by 3rd round KO, and I can't lie, I'm devastated. I couldn't care less about the picks being right or wrong. I just could never see Max getting knocked out. And the way he got finished, I think for a lot of Holloway fans or a lot of fans of MMA in general, it's hard to visualize. This video is going to be slightly different as well, my recap. I'm actually going to start with the main event itself, which is what we're talking about here, and then we're going to work our way all the way down to the prelims. This card was great overall. I really needed to make a recap on this card. It was fantastic. Obviously, some results didn't go my way in terms of the main event and co-main event, but many of the prelims performed. There were fantastic fights on this card, many finishes. You couldn't ask for a better card, honestly. As always, timestamps will be in the comments section and description of the video, but let's jump into this fight. I don't see Ilia Topuria losing to anyone, guys. I don't see him losing to anyone. You beat the pound for pound #1 fighter in the world in Aleksandar Volkanovski. You knocked him out in the 2nd round, and then you go beat arguably the 2nd greatest featherweight of all time in Max Holloway, and you knock him out as well in the 3rd round. Has never been knocked out in his whole career, sorry, because he's been finished by Dustin Poirier in terms of a submission, only and lost in recent memory to someone like Aleksandar Volkanovski. You are built different. You're the greatest boxer in the UFC, and I literally don't see anyone at 145 beating this guy. I can't imagine him losing. He's durable, he's quick, he's powerful, he's got the technique, he's got the grappling game. I think we're watching a future GOAT of the division in the making, especially when he puts out both current GOATs of the division inside of 1 year. It's depressing, I can't lie, it's depressing, but you cannot knock Ilia Topuria for the performance. He's a fantastic fighter. I won't ever take that away from him, and he just looked solid in there. I think this fight was really close. If we go through the rounds themselves, I can see the round 1 stats and the round 2 stats here. I remember watching live, I thought both 1st and 2nd round were competitive, but I edged them both to Holloway live. I couldn't make an argument for the 1-1 as well, so they were just competitive rounds. Going into the 3rd, I thought Holloway was looking good. He was doing everything that I said he should be doing in my prediction video. He was working his kicking game. He was constantly moving, staying on the outside, keeping his jab going, beating Topuria with the jab, but it was like nothing affected Topuria, guys. It was like nothing affected him. He got his legs chewed up. He got his body hit. He took many shots on the chin in this fight, and nothing stopped him. Nothing stopped him from pushing forward. He didn't look any slower going into the 3rd round when he finished Max Holloway, and I just don't understand how he can just keep moving forward when he has taken that amount of damage. He just does not wear the damage. He had visible damage on his face. His face definitely showed the damage, but not in terms of affecting his fight performance. Many fighters who get leg kicked or get body kicked, they slow down, and you can physically and visibly see the slowdown of the fighter, but Ilia Topuria did not show any of that in this fight. As for what's next for Ilia Topuria, I do not want to see a Volkanovski rematch. I know they brought Volk. I don't even know why they brought Volk into the octagon. Like, it seemed a little bit, I would say a little bit cringy to me, just because Ilia Topuria has already knocked out Volkanovski, and it's like usually when they bring someone into the octagon, it's more so like, oh, this is like the bad guy, or like this is like the next up and comer, or the next threat to the belt. But we've already seen Topuria knock him out in the 2nd round, so it just seemed a little bit weird. I would have rather have Diego Lopez come in, especially since he weighed in for the title, weighed in as a backup, but Diego Lopez panned over to him in the crowd. He did not look like he wanted this fight, but I could just be reading too much into it, of course. And in terms of what's next for Max Holloway, I think he just needs to rest up and then consider a move to the lightweight division, because he was looking good against Justin Gaethje, and I think he would do good against other fighters. I think he would do good in a rematch with Dustin Poirier. The 3rd fight with Dustin Poirier, I think he would do quite good. I think he would beat a fighter like Michael Chandler as well. And I just hope this does not affect him long term. In terms of the durability of his chin, I'd be devastated if he starts getting knocked out consistently at this point. It's crazy, man. It's really crazy. We're living in a crazy time in the UFC. If I think of what will most likely happen, I think that they will give Aleksandar Volkanovski his rematch. I don't see Volkanovski winning the rematch. Max Holloway will most likely get a matchup with Diego Lopez, probably in around 6 months' time if he's willing to take it. And I'm worried for him, honestly. After a knockout loss, I'd be worried versus someone like Diego Lopez, who's got power in both hands. Man, it's devastating. Anyways, guys, that's what I think would happen. We can move on to Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev. Guys, it's devastating. This was like icing on the cake for this. I was depressed going into the main event after this, and then I have to see Khamzat Chimaev finished Robert Whittaker in the first round via submission, but it's just devastating to see the injury he had. I saw the photos, basically pushed his teeth backwards, breaking that part of the jaw. This was something that Whittaker must have been struggling with prior, and I think he mentioned having broken his jaw as a kid and always needing to have that fixed up, has always had issues with his jaw. So I hope he gets that fixed now. But yeah, Khamzat Chimaev is good, guys. I don't think many people are beating him in the division. I don't see someone like, Israel Adesanya. I don't see anyone in the top 5 beating him. I don't see Strickland beating him. I can see Khamzat taking him down. I don't see Duplessis beating him either. I think he would take down Duplessis. But I do think that would be a more interesting matchup because I think Duplessis is more physical and could potentially wear on Khamzat more if he's able to survive the first and second round. The man is too good in the first and second round. Like, I don't know who's able to stop this guy's takedowns. Robert could not stop this takedown. He was on the ground for the entire duration. He was defending very well, but once it got put over his chin, I don't know if it was the squeeze or if it was an elbow or a punch prior, but something snapped his jaw and it wasn't pretty. It was not pretty to see afterwards. As for what's next for him, give Khamzat his title shot. It's like he's going to get the title shot over Sean Strickland at this point. They're not going to give Strickland the shot before Khamzat Chimaev. After a first round finish over Robert Whittaker, there's no way. Even though I still do think Sean deserves it somewhat, since his fight was really close and he arguably won. He won in my opinion, but it was very close. It was one of the closest fights I had ever seen with Dricus du Plessis, but he might have to fight someone else in the meantime if he's not willing to fight. I don't even think the fight with Robert Whittaker would be enticing anymore. As for what's next for Robert Whittaker, he's got to rest up, got to get this jaw issue fixed, got to get these teeth fixed. I don't know who he fights next. Probably a Kaya Baralho, Nasruddin Imavov maybe. He shouldn't even be thinking about fighting with what he's got going on right now. Magomed Ankalaev versus Aleksandar Rakic. This fight was pretty close, but Magomed was definitely the leader in a lot of exchanges. You had someone always pressing forward, always trying to do the more damaging strikes, and Rakic was trying to stay on the outside, establish his kicking game, establish the range, and Ankalaev was able to come in a lot more, come in and land the better strikes. I thought it was pretty clear 2-1 that he won this fight, but I knew this fight was going to be close. I don't know what the odds makers were thinking, putting Ankalaev as like a 4 to 5 to 1 favorite. Rakic is one of the most well-rounded fighters in the division, and so is Ankalaev, so Ankalaev deserves to fight Ferreira, but if he fights Ferreira the way he fought Rakic, he's going to lose. I don't see Ankalaev beating Ferreira at all. I see him maybe beating Ferreira if he just plans on shooting takedowns non-stop, only goes for his wrestling and no striking. But if Rakic is chewing up your legs, if Rakic is hitting you with some tough shots, Ferreira is going to destroy you in the stand-up. There's no way. I know Rakic is good, but Ferreira is 10 times better. He's way more powerful, way more technical. You're not beating Ferreira the way you fought today. However, I do think Rakic looked good, and I would like to see him fight someone else up the division. Maybe even a matchup with Khalil Roundtree or a Jamal Hill matchup, because the man does look really good. But yeah, that fight was good. Going down the card to Lerone Murphy versus Dan Ige. Decent fight. I thought Lerone Murphy probably lost the first round because he got rocked by Dan Ige, but rallied back, won the second, won the third. Just an overall good performance. Like I said, he's the type of fighter to beat a Dan Ige. Not afraid to grapple, not afraid to clinch in some situations, not afraid to knee the thigh, not afraid to get into these scrambles and pick at him from range and use his leg kicks, use his body kicks. And Dan Ige seemed to slow down. I think Lerone Murphy picked it up, had a good fight, especially in the latter rounds of the fight, and recovered well after that early scare. Give the man someone high ranked, someone that's coming off of a couple losses. I reckon give him a fight with Josh Emmett, or give him a fight with Arnold Allen. I reckon he's ready for it. He looks good. He's a solid British fighter. And as for Dan Ige, maybe a fight with Giga Chikadze, someone around your ranking. Even a fight with Josh Emmett would be crazy as well. And Josh Emmett's higher in the ranking, but yeah, he probably should go down the ranking or fight someone a little bit down the ranking. We move on. Shara Magomedov versus Armen Petrosyan. Close fight. Honestly, close fight on the feet. Shara was looking good. He just looked a little bit more technical, but Armen was landing quite a bit of volume in this fight. I thought Armen most likely won the first round, and then it was a close second round before Shara Magomedov got the win with a spinning back fist, a double spinning back fist. It looked like he went for the initial spinning back fist. Armen Petrosyan went for his own shot, and then Shara hit him with the second one. So it was pretty crazy. Great finish for Shara Magomedov. Like I said, I thought he would win this fight. I did think Armen was just slightly below him, but Armen actually did look better than I would have thought, honestly. And what's next for Shara Magomedov? I would like to see him realistically fight someone a little bit higher ranked, just someone up the rankings. Probably someone just barely outside the rankings, or someone like right at the bottom part of the welterweight division. A Neal Magny after Neal Magny's fight. Maybe like a Vicente Luque sort of fight would be cool. But yeah, not much more else to say. I'm going to talk about the prelims pretty briefly. I think the main card really stole the show, besides one prelim fight in particular. And you know what? I'm going to jump to that fight, which you can see is the fight of the night for the prelims, and that was Mateusz Rebecki versus Myktybek Orolbai. This fight was insane. I'm going to flip through round 1, round 2, and round 3. There wasn't that many like crazy amounts of strikes. Usually a fight you would say deserves fight of the night, or a lot of people were saying fight of the year, would have a lot of strikes in it. And round 1 and round 2, 27, 22, 24 and 28, not that many. Like, not, it's good, but it's not extreme. You move to the third round, there is quite a lot. I don't think I've ever seen someone as close to being finished as Myktybek Orolbai end up recovering while he looked like he was completely out, stands back up on his feet, reverses certain positions after being taken down, and then puts it on Rebecki towards the very end of the round, to where if he had the cardio left or had the gas tank left, he might have been able to finish him with an extra minute left of the fight. It was crazy to watch. That third round might be one of the best third rounds I've ever seen in terms of entertainment value in the UFC. And Mateusz Rebecki was a lot better than I thought he would be in this fight. The guy looked crazy, looked like a powerhouse, definitely hit hard, looked great on the feet. And I did pick Myktybek Orolbai in this fight, but he took a lot of damage in those first 2 rounds, man. A lot of damage, especially in the third round, but a lot of damage in the rounds leading up when Mateusz Rebecki was a lot fresher. But yeah, that's definitely a fight of the year contender right there. I hope that everyone goes and watches that fight. If they missed the prelims, please go do watch that fight. It was fantastic. And now we'll go to the rest of the prelims themselves. We're going to move to Ibo Aslan versus Rafael Sequeira. It was a disappointing fight for me. I did pick Rafael Sequeira going into this fight. I didn't even know he threw a strike, honestly. It's saying 1 strike. I didn't even know he threw a strike. I thought that someone who looks so good in the kickboxing department would put up more of a fight. I think Ibo Aslan might have hit him with 1 nice shot. Like, it pretty much wasn't a fight. It was Ibo Aslan hit him with 1 left hook, slightly wobbled him. He completely covered up, didn't try to move. Ibo Aslan just went in for the kill, as he should, peppered him with a lot of shots until the fight was called off. Happy Ibo Aslan got the win. He did a great job, deserved it, but I was just disappointed in Rafael Sequeira, and that's a pick down the drain, basically. The guy was undefeated going into this as well, so you would think he would know to try to circle out of danger, try to move at least, and not stay there being a boxing bag for Ibo Aslan. But we move on from this fight. Geoff Neal versus Rafael dos Anjos. I thought Geoff Neal was going to finish him in the first round. It ended up going that way, but it didn't end up finishing the way that I thought, with Rafael dos Anjos basically blowing out his knee. It was just disappointing to see him go out like that, and it's disappointing for Geoff Neal. Like, you want a guy to have a clean win, you want him to enjoy that win, feel like he deserved the win. And I'm sure Geoff Neal goes back with a bit of a sour taste in his mouth since Rafael was injured. But like I said in my prediction video, I really thought he was going to finish dos Anjos, or I thought he was going to put a 3-round beatdown on him, just because it was a bad matchup for dos Anjos going into this. He's more physical, he's a lot faster, he's better on the feet, and he has good takedown defense. It's like the worst possible matchup for Rafael dos Anjos going into this. I think Rafael dos Anjos should think about hanging up the gloves, just retiring. He's fought too many top guys, fought the best of the best. He's definitely a BMF, but the man doesn't need to fight anymore. I would like to see Geoff Neal fight someone fun, like a Michael Venom Page. Something like that would be nice. We can move on to the next fight of the card. Abus Magomedov versus Bruno Ferreira. This fight was fun to watch. Like, I did have Bruno Ferreira going into this fight, and I thought that he would get the job done. He hit Abus with quite a few big strikes, and he was looking better than Abus. Finished him on the ground, submission in the third round, which was pretty impressive. And it looked like Bruno Ferreira took the first round off. I'm looking at the first round stats, and I didn't think he threw very much, and you can obviously see he didn't throw very many total strikes. But it looked like he took the first round off, sort of just keep a little bit of pressure on Abus, and that's it. And then in the second round, he picked it up massively. I think they were waiting for Abus's gas tank to... He's been known to gas out sort of towards the second round. And that's probably what made the second round way more competitive, way more fun to watch going into the third round as well. But yeah, great win from Abus Magomedov over a very tough guy in Bruno Ferreira. Both guys probably took a bit of damage in that fight, so I'd like to see them rest up for now. We can move on to A fight I did want to talk about, actually. Nzechukwu versus Chris Barnett. Guys, anyone who was betting on Chris Barnett, I don't know what you were even thinking, because Nzechukwu deserved to be that -700, -800 favorite over Chris Barnett in this fight. Chris Barnett was not active going into this. The guy already was coming off an injury, not had fought in 2 years, is super small for the division. Like, you saw how small he looked against Nzechukwu in this fight. It was just a disaster waiting to happen, and it looked like he injured himself from the get-go before the fight even started, with the pre-warm-up jump or something. I don't even know what it was, but he fully wrecked his knee on the spinning wheel kick. So terrible outcome for Chris Barnett. Hope he rests up, but too much time off. And great win for Nzechukwu. Moving on to Farid Basharat versus Victor Hugo. Great fight. I think Farid won pretty convincingly. I thought he looked pretty good, looked good all round, looked good in the striking, looked good in the grappling. And I think Victor Hugo looked pretty decent in this fight. He gave him a bit of trouble, but it was pretty clear to Farid Basharat. He was just too strong in just his overall movement. The guy moves extremely well. He's extremely fluid, extremely loose. I think that's super important, especially in these lighter weight classes, to be quite quick, light on your feet, be able to dart in and out, because everyone's so quick. You got to be the quickest, and Farid Basharat definitely looked quite solid in this fight. We're going to move on to Ismail Naurdiev versus Bruno Silva. I was disappointed in Bruno Silva in this fight. I felt like it looked like he didn't even want to be there. I'll be honest with you. It's nothing to knock Ismail Naurdiev's performance here. He was quite strong. I probably should have gone with him to win via decision, but I just thought Bruno Silva, man, he's put on good performances. He's had good striking contests with a lot of top strikers, but he just looked like he wanted out of there. Like, I don't know. He just didn't look interested in the fight. That's in my personal opinion. It could have been Ismail Naurdiev just put the pressure on him here, but I don't know, man. I can't tell you. And the last fight of the card that I'm going to talk about. All right, Rinat Fakhretdinov versus Carlos Leal. I put my pick on Rinat Fakhretdinov, so I guess I will take it. But I don't even, like, I can't really claim it. Like, Carlos Leal arguably won all 3 rounds in this fight. Rinat Fakhretdinov was given a decision, unanimous decision. I honestly had no clue how that was possible. I just think Carlos Leal should have won this fight. Like, look at the striking numbers, 146 to 119. He was defending a lot of takedowns. Look at 56 to 28 in the first round, 44 to 37. He secured 1 takedown, and then you got the third round, 46 to 54. It was closer, right? I just thought arguably he landed the better strikes, was able to stuff a lot of the takedowns. Man, like, look at this. 1 takedown secured out of 7. He shot almost 25 takedowns this fight. 0 out of 8 takedowns secured. It's crazy, man. Carlos Leal should have been given this fight, but I guess I'll take it. 1 pick for the channel, I guess. Listen, I would love to say the card was bad. The card was great overall. There was nothing... As a fan, it was a great spectacle to watch. The prelims were a fire. There was a great fight in the prelims. Deserved fight of the night. Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway put on a great performance. The first, second round were always... It was always nerve-wracking. It was always nerve-wracking in that fight. They were doing great up until the finish, of course. They were doing great even until the finish. Ilia's just built different, man. I don't know who beats this guy. I don't know who beats this guy in the division. I would like to see Diego Lopez. I do not want to see Alex Volkanovski fight Ilia Topuria next. I would be super disappointed with that, because I just feel like he's going to get finished again at this point in his career. He's not going to get any better. The older he gets, he's already 35, 36 at this point. It's just a bad idea. I would like to see Volk. I wouldn't even mind matchups with Volk in lightweight right now. I would like Ilia Topuria to take care of, like I said, Diego Lopez, and then he can think about moving up a division. I also think that Max Holloway is going to move up to lightweight permanently now, and I think he should fight someone maybe like a Dan Hooker right now next. So that'd be good for him. Thanks for watching the video, guys. A bit of a more chill recap. Definitely very sad as a fan of Max Holloway, a fan of Robert Whittaker, but is what it is sometimes. The sport is the way the sport is. And congratulations to everyone who won on this card. If you liked the video, please leave a like and comment. Let me know what videos you'd like to see next as well. Thanks for watching, everyone, and see you guys next time.